now in the presence of a king.
Okay, that's my fault on the intro. So
Look, I was like, wait,
yeah,
I know
I
the good
know
one,
that's
right?
the old one. That's the old one. You made the new one. I put the old one on because I accidentally deleted some of the studios and had to go back and remake these. And guys, welcome back to the Blurs. Paladin, take it away.
Huh? No, no. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the Blurs. We are here once again. It's been a minute since we've been here, but we had to life be lifing, and so we had to rearrange. But hey, it's a good thing this is a virtual show because we can, adjust the schedule. So, thank goodness for that. We got some interesting topics lined up for y'all tonight. Some good discussion. Um, we're gonna talk a little bit rent fair. Um, Calvis has some comments about this pirate thing, and you have to jog my memory because I don't remember.
No,
And
well,
then,
I
I
think we're
would
gonna do
lead
the Ren Fair and the Pirates.
with the pirates thing.
Yeah, that's
Blackbeard's
where we're gonna
Festival
do
is
this.
next month. So we're going to go there because we met everybody from the Shire, springtime in the Shire, that is going to be there, and I get my axes. I
oh
get
no,
three throwing axes, so I
no,
am,
no.
But the springtime in the Shire is also going to be in September. We have been invited back, uh, so that's where we're going to be. I imagine you and Stacy will be with us.
Uh, Give me the dates, and we will definitely try to be there.
Yeah. So
And
it's
if we
going
both
to
can't be there, she probably gonna say send me by myself, which is a high
be.
likelihood that I'll be just be flying
I was
solo.
look. I'm gonna tell you when she got that turkey leg, I was like, I think I might have to break down. And of course, Cag was already saying, I gotta have me one next time. She said I kept smelling it, and I was like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was fighting the urge too, but I'm gonna report to you guys about, of course, when we're gonna always gonna be there. Marky Mark and Vonda always go. So we'll be following their lead as we go through, talk to all the people from the springtime in the Shire, and then we'll be talking about, of course, the Ren fairs and stuff like that because I think it just ties in better with everything there. So your subject was the anime and
yeah,
production.
yeah. Um, So let's lead off with this. So I saw a video on YouTube about 2 weeks ago. I think they were talking about Invincible, this last season that came out, um, going over synopsis and stuff. And it was probably about the last 5 minutes of the video. They got in talking about animation quality and how it impacted their enjoyment of the show and how hoping that the season would increase in quality because there was an increase in budget, and it got me thinking. I was like, man, because I hear a lot of people talking about quality of production in a lot of mediums, from anime, just regular, let's say anime, western animation, movies in terms of just production, CGI usage. And then I started thinking about the older school anime comparatively, because even though Invincible is a superhero show, it's a Western show, right? It's an American show based off of a comic book, right? Um, but it's a Western show, and so I started thinking about how much our culture impacts how things are produced by other cultures and how that impacts our enjoyment. Now, of course, this is all subjective to whoever is viewing the product at the time, right? Some people, quality doesn't matter, they're there for the story. Some people, it's intrinsic to their enjoyment of whatever they're watching, because hey, if it looks like trash, then my enjoyment is also trash. And so I just want us to have a conversation, dialogue, and kind of just bring up some topics and some bullet points on how much that is important to us as individuals, how much we think it's important or matters to the industry at large. Um, and just kind of just throw that topic around the room. We was talking about a pre-show, uh, had a good discussion. So let's carry it on. Mark, let's start with you. What
All
what
right, so
what you got?
you're talking about that, and it brought back a memory of Miles Morales' Spider-Man, the cartoon. I thoroughly enjoyed the first Miles Morales Spider-Man. I thought the production was good. I loved the animation of it, and I enjoyed the storyline. I thought it was a really good movie. Now, when they came to the second one, Across the Spider Verse, and it seemed, how do you want to, it wasn't like it was complete. Like, you can see the lines bleeding across the screen. The animation looked like certain things were done on this way, and then you would look at a different character and they were drawn a completely different way, and then some of the characters were just like outlined instead of being a fully formed character. I know that was trying to give you, well, this character's from this universe, or I mean, from this world. This one is from 12. They were saying that they looked at that because of the where universe they were from, and I hated it so much. And I hope they don't go forward that way, because that took me right out of the story. I had to go to the movies and see it twice, because the first time I went to sleep, and I didn't know what happened, because you did not like it at all, but everybody was telling me how great a story was. So, and I actually watched it yesterday, and I got upset again. So, and I'm like, I really don't like this movie at all, but I like the first one, and I feel really bad because I like Miles Morales as a character, but the way they animated that story put me right out of it, and I can't, I don't even know what to say about that, because I just don't like
Mm-hmm.
it.
Okay, all right. So I think it's safe to say quality. Is it for you? Is it IP dependent? Like, do what if things change, right? Because you didn't say it was bad; it was said it was different, right?
Well, because of the way it was drawn, I couldn't get into the story. I kept looking at this person, and I'm like, why is he drawn this way? This person is not a complete story. And then if most of the time you want to see the background where everything is done. And then when you look at, what is it, Spider Gwen, when she's at home, you look at the walls behind her, the colors are bleeding on the walls while she's just standing there. And that was distracting to my eyes. So that's why, I couldn't really hear what she was saying, because I'm looking at all the details around her, and it looked unpolished, and that's what I don't like. Um, you know, I guess I'm used to, back in the 80s, everything was hand drawn. And they spent so much time meticulously drawing everything, and it looked fantastic. And then you get to this, where it looks like, well, we got to get this movie out. We can do this. I'm going to put this picture here. We can make it move a little bit, but, in the background, we'll just kind of blur it out so you don't look at it. But I'm looking at it because that's what I focused on. And then I can't hear what they're saying, because that just didn't draw me in. I mean, I enjoyed the end of the movie, but certain parts when they were in the Spider Verse, where all of the Spider Men were together, I didn't like that part at all, because just the way everybody interacted with each other was not great. So that's why I feel that way about that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I hope it improves in the next one. So I think it comes out next year or something like that. We'll just have to see.
Okay, I got some follow up thoughts, but Calibus, let's hear what you got, Brian.
I just think the quality of our animation has gone down as a whole. Look what we get. Everything went from this nice style of coming from Japan. Everything for everything that we got. You could tell the Transformers the movie comes out, right. You can tell that that's Japanese drawn. Then we get after that. You can tell we did it because the characters look horrible. The characters look horrible. There's some bleed through over. Some of the things don't even match. You know what I mean? It's just drawn horribly. As we go into this next era of getting cartoons, everybody dumbs down the cartoons where they're these odd shaped things. The art. I mean, it doesn't look that hard. It doesn't look like someone professionally drew it. It looks like children did this artwork. Thundercats, um, uh, She-Ra, the whole thing. Now things like Gumball, The Adventures of Gumball and his whatever, and Steven Universe, and even Rick and Morty. I understand that type of art, but when you get into some of these other things, and they're these simple looking characters, it's just I sit there and I think this is what's passing for our entertainment. Um, Now, don't get me wrong. When you have a show like Rick and Morty, and if you break down some of the things in it, some of the themes are horrifying themes. You know what I mean? The loneliness of Rick drinking, and the lashing out, and how he feels, and da 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 da. Great. But when you get to these other cartoons, there's no rhyme or reason for it. They're just doing it. Like, especially when they redid the Thundercats and they made them all these weird looking things. And yeah, I'm like, what? You had the guy that came before them that did this masterpiece. The guy who voiced Batman, I think is William Birdie or something like that. He did the voice for Batman Beyond. He was doing Lion. Artwork was fantastic. Storyline, not so much. But the artwork was good. Storyline, passable. Enough for us to watch. But then we get into the animation side of stuff. The animation changed a little bit. Don't get me wrong, it's still kind of good, but it's more computer generated. It's more not refined, a little bit looser than what we're used to, compared to, say, Record of the Lotus War, uh, Vampire Hunter D, Bubblegum Crisis, Bubblegum Crash, um, to the point now where everything seems to be a little bit more lax, in my opinion. Um, you can even tell now with Family Guy. If you watch Family Guy from where it started to where it is now, you can tell that's all computer generated stuff now. And the characters, the shading, you know what I mean? Um, which was one of my favorite shows. Now it's kind of like, you know what I mean? I
Hmm.
can, I can leave it alone.
Right.
In this house, a good 5 or 6 years ago, Family Guy, Cleveland Show, American Dad would be on that TV in that living room if I was home. I mean, I would just sit there and just watch it up to a certain point. But then, it wasn't the animation that kind of turned me off. It was the way they took some of the characters and progressed them in their, I guess, realness. And it just got to be no longer fun nor entertaining. So that cuts that. But I was just watching Crunchyroll before I got over here, and I'm still kind of like, where's the great cinematic scenes that really draw
Yeah.
you in, and we don't have that anymore. It's either well, we all know this. Hollywood has definitely fell off. They have no original ideas. They want to rehack everything that they have, or they want to reboot it and push it in a way that is just ridiculous. Ridiculous. Um, and I think AI now, unfortunately, has a big hold on Hollywood's storytelling. Um, and I know a lot of people are afraid.
Do you think AI is writing some of these stories for these
Gotta
universe?
be.
Because
Gotta be.
I'm wondering about that because you look at stuff. I know I watch a lot of anime on times, but I don't like when, how do you put it? Especially the stuff when their eyes bulge and stuff like that, and they start. I don't watch any anime that does that to a point. Don Don does it. I enjoy the story of Don Don. It's not a lot. It's not kid friendly, but they still do that a little bit, not as much as some of the other stuff I've seen. And even Sakamoto Days kind of does that a little bit, but not to the extreme. And I can deal with it on a lower level. But then
Yeah.
I'm like, sometimes you look at this and I'm like, well, this is definitely a kids thing. I don't want to watch this. I need something a little bit more mature, and I don't get that all the time with everything that I've been watching. So I
We
have
don't
an
get it
issue
with.
with that.
Yeah, and the sad thing is, I think they mistake maturity for sexual content. You know what I mean? Where you have to have this love scene. I was watching an anime, and it's clearly the choice of the people who are creating it on our side because we control the voiceover. Where they took the character, he was saving, he's an assassin, and he goes after this target, and the target goes, well, I can change my appearance to be a boy or a girl. I just use the girl appearance because it's easier to fool people. And I'm going, you're staying a girl throughout this whole thing without turning into a boy. That's just to,
Yeah.
insert this so you guys think it's an LGBTQ plus whatever. And I'm like, not necessary. Not necessary to the story. And I'm just like, where are we going with all this stuff where we have to do these things? You're just tell a story. That's all you had to do. Was tell the story. And if you really wanted to do something, why didn't you just make her completely transition into from a boy into a girl? Say, well, I was male, now I'm female. Okay, cool. That makes a little bit more sense instead of this trying to act like you're doing. Well, it makes no sense when you do crazy stuff like that.
Right.
The production value, though, again, I can let a lot of stuff go if your story is good. If your story is good. Taking point, Star Wars Visions. I love the duel.
Yeah, yeah, that was fantastic. I think
Okay.
that was everyone's favorite, honestly.
The rest of that stuff, no. And it's because, like Mark said, I got you. You give me this straight line, rigid black and white colored, and then like reds and blues and certain things. Then you give me this cute little girl running around in an anime type deal, and I'm like, I can't deal with that. You know what I mean? You gave me this, and now you're giving me that. And I get it. It's an anthology. You're telling all these different
Right.
stories from everybody's different point of view. But I didn't like it when I saw Robot Carnival at the Nero when I was younger. That, especially that last one where the guy and the robot and little robot, he destroyed her, and then in his later years, the little ghost of the robot came back to take the spirit away. Man, no,
But
no.
look, it's a good thing that you brought up anthologies because I want to step back and go to this point with this point of the technique slash method of the animation versus how long it would take to produce something, right? And then also because you mentioned that anthology, that made me think about things like Animatrix, Halo Legends, um, what was that one that was on Amazon with the gaming stuff? Um,
You had that Batman film that was an anime, and took place between Batman Begins and Batman: The Dark Knight,
was
and
that
it was an anthology. It was an
okay?
anthology because you had like three or four different directors
Yeah.
all took their
Oh,
takes
you're
on
talking
Batman.
about, yeah, that was the one that was supposed to be just, it was done by Japan, where
Hmm.
yeah,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, because they was their take on the one where he was fighting Firefly, which that drawing was completely different than the one where he was learning how to to keep the pain inside from that woman in India.
Hmm.
But that was a good story. All of those were
Yeah.
really good.
No, I'm just saying it was an anthology though, and
Yeah,
the styles differed.
it's
You know.
different from each story told by each different director.
Because
Yeah.
and I think anthologies are a great example to like this whole conversation, because it the whole point of an anthology is to allow different artists and their expression, right? The
Yeah,
expression of their art in the art form of storytelling through visual media and all that good stuff. And not everything's going to land. Like with Halo Legends, I don't know if y'all have ever seen that one, but it's got one of my favorite parts of Halo Legends is this one where it starts off animated, but it looks like moving Japanese art. It was kind of weird, but the story that like they was telling with one of the um one of the guys with the predator like mouth, um and one of the other Spartans, and then I can't remember, but it was really really good. And Animatrix was really big on that too, because that was an anthology that had like whole sessions that were a full episode that was completely computer generated. Um,
actually, Last Flight of the Osiris was the
yeah,
tied
yeah,
into the movie, which I
yeah.
thought that was a fantastic story,
Hmm.
especially when she landed on the roof and then jumped down through each one of the.
Yeah, all the bending and all this.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, good thing they're in the Matrix. Human body
I
really
know
can't do
that
that.
was, like you said, that was a great story. Then they had the guy who was running, who was in a
I really
wheelchair.
love that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because they
because
were trying to keep his mind tied
mhm.
down. So they said he was paralyzed, but he knew he wasn't.
But I
So
think that style, which was kind of wild, kind of
it
loose,
was. It was.
with like really exaggerated, and that was fine for that snippet. But I wouldn't have been able to watch a whole series of that.
Oh God, no.
I've been
Yeah,
like, no, 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 no. I'm done
yeah.
with this. I feel like I should be on LSD watching this.
You're absolutely right. And it was what, probably about 20 minutes. I think that story was 20 minutes long. I don't
Hmm.
think it could be much longer than that because you wouldn't be able to stand staring at it for any longer than that period of time.
Yeah. So
So
I think, so my point on the technique and method, thinking about anthologies, and then how long it would take, because now we're in this era of like fast fashion, fast food, fast entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Whereas I've seen this clip a couple of times on YouTube. It was from some movie. I wish I could find it quickly, but it'll take me a minute. I'll have to send it to you guys later. But there was a clip from it might have been Akira or something, where it was like a big explosion, or at least the ground was like going in like this, and it was like, hey, it took like 3 years just to animate that because it's like a million frames or something crazy like that. And other 80s, late 80s anime and stuff like that, where it was like it took 10 years to produce this film because it took so much time, to produce each part of it. And so as time goes on, we get better techniques, we get more technology. Has that become an Achilles heel to it all, where we're trying to speed up production time because everyone's trying to make money faster, and then have the consumers become just like sheep out in the field, like, we'll just eat up any slop. AI slop, right? I mean, apparently that's a thing.
yeah, I have to
Well,
agree
you.
with you because, like you said, Akira took years to complete. Um, and then you think about the CGI that they're doing now. Even let's just talk about what is that show? Cartman,
South Park.
South Park. They
Mhm.
complete an episode a week, just about. And think about
7 days. They do it in 7 days. Yep.
yeah, 7 days per episode. That's unheard of nowadays. But they've got their technique down where it's just a circle, another circle, and then they move it around weird, and that's how they do their stuff. But you can't do stuff like that back then.
But also, and South Park's a great example because no one watches South Park for the animation quality.
True. Yeah, you're watching it for the
No
story.
one cares. As
Yeah.
a matter of fact, everyone would be offended if it got any better. Or
Yeah. I think so. I
you're
think
like, well,
so.
hold on, why these characters have depth? Is that a shadow? Like, wait, hold on now.
Yeah.
Not in my South hashtag, not my South Park. Like, stop
Yeah.
Well,
playing
you,
with me.
it's funny how you say like with the AI, it helps you now. I just saw an ad by Ice T. Hey, are you tired of people telling you how to make your movie and you need a big production team? You don't need that now. For $8 a month, you can get this thing and create your own movie.
Oh
And
no,
for
I didn't see that.
somebody, oh dude, look. I mean, as for me,
You gotta pay the
and
bills.
I tell everybody this, I can't draw. So I had to back in the day sit in this office and I would sit in here for 8 to 12 hours, copy, paste, take out a background using Photoshop and all this other stuff to create what I wanted. And 8 times out of 10, I could do it. There was those 2 times that would it just wouldn't come together and I would have to settle for a lesser version. Versus going into it, and most of this is free. Going into an AI, typing out what I want, and bam, there it
Hmm.
is. It's done. I don't have to do anything but refine a few things here and there. And of course, artists will say, "Well, you're stealing other people's work." No, this is a tool. You have to understand everything is a tool. And if your prices were in my range, I wouldn't have to do that. But when I go to somebody and I'm willing to pay $150 for you to do something for me on an 8 by 10, and you come back and you tell me $500, I can go do it over here for 5. And I can keep doing it for the rest of the month. And if I really want to get better, I can upgrade to $20 a month and I can make video production. So you got to tell me, and I get it. Well, this is my livelihood. This is what I'm trying to do. I understand that, but this is a tool for a artist, a film artist, a writer. AI is wonderful because it helps me do these things. It helps me refine stuff. There's AI chats where you can sit there and chat with this AI as if you were a character in your book. They'll help you make your dialogue. You can roll out a scene with somebody versus running some ideas by people now. Um, Anime wise, how does that help you? It kind of does and it kind of doesn't. It just depends on how you're going to use it. You know what I mean? Artists are scared, but if you still want that, you can tell when somebody drew something versus AI.
Oh yeah.
You can tell it. And if you really want that art look, if you can afford it, I say pay for it through an artist. I'm going through fridge-worthy art to redo some of my AI generated characters because I love the way he does. I can afford him.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. I can afford him.
And he
You
does some
know,
great work.
he does some great work, and I don't mind it being black and white and all this other stuff because I love the way it looks. Now, there's going to be a couple of things I'm going to need in color, but other than that, I can afford him, and that's the thing. It's the affordability of what you're trying to do. For simple stuff that I'm trying to do, I'm looking at $200 max for somebody to do something for me. And when you start, some of these artists, well, it's going to cost you about, $350 for an 8 by 10 of this character. I'm like, it's just a character. I've got the basic look. I just need you to redraw this to make it look a little bit better. In my opinion, it shouldn't cost me no $300 to get that done. So you can't get mad at me if I'm going to use the tools that are going to do it. And sometimes, I hate to say this, it's going to be better than some of the artists that are out there anyway.
Yeah, yeah, because and I mean, your facts, man. I mean, you're speaking facts, and like I got a client from my business that she's doing this online class, and I was like, hey, let's I've been messing around with AI. Let's try AI for this first class, making videos and doing that. We wrote the script with AI, did the voice narration with AI, and and I had a mix of AI generated clips with some stock footage, that I was able to get, and it came out pretty good. Um, but she was just like, I like it, but it's not me. She one of them more like she want to be the person and people know her with her product and stuff like that. And so I get it. And she was like, hey, this is more instructional, so this is fine. And like you said, it's a tool. Like It's like carpenters being mad at people for using saws to build houses. Like, how on earth am I supposed to
Yeah.
get this
But no,
wood
you're right.
cut up, bro? Like,
And look, and the thing with your client, dude, there's a thing where you scan her face into it, and now you got her doing it
look,
without her
I
being there.
mentioned that, and she was like, "I don't know if I'm ready for that yet." People do weird stuff. I was like, "No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fair."
Yeah, but it's out there. But don't get me wrong. I miss the '80s anime, even going into the '90s, because especially the '80s with the hard lines, the shadows, they took the time to hand draw. And I think we're missing that now because everything is so computer generated and pushed out there.
Yeah.
Do you think people
Plus,
don't know how to draw anymore, and that's why they're doing that?
no, I think it's cheaper.
Okay.
Again, just like I just said, I can go get this computer to do it. Why am I paying you thousands of dollars when I can get this done out of this computer or out of this program? And I got the one guy, Paladin, he can run it through the program. I tell him what I want versus Marky Mark, who's the artist, where I'm waiting on Marky Mark to give me this deadline. It's going to be faster over here with Paladin because it's computer generated, it's done, da 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 da. The problem is now I'm giving him more than his workload. I've cut my workload from you because it's faster, but now Paladin, I know it's faster. I need you to do 5 more. Remember the
Right.
Disney artists, the Disney people that are doing all the special effects, they kept saying, "You guys are killing us." The
Yeah.
movies are more green screen and more special effects. So now they were like, "We're sleeping here." You know what I mean?
True.
18-hour days. Are you crazy?
That's wild. Yeah.
Yeah, because
18-hour days?
before it used to be they would film for months. Now they can film a movie within about 5 weeks. They're done completely, and then the rest of it is done with computers, which will take another 5 to 6 months to complete. And then if you got a deadline, like you said, they're working 13, 14 hours a day, and they're not getting paid anymore for doing that. And
Yeah.
that was the last what was it? That was the last strike that they had because of
Hmm.
that. So yeah, you're right about that.
You
So
know,
you,
I think there's at some point, and I doubt it's going to be around anytime soon because there's too much easy money to be made out there, right? I think at some point there's going to be a renaissance with all this. Like, there's going to get at some point people are going to be like, either find a way to bridge the gap between the like the computer stuff, the speed of production, the efficiency, this, that, and the other, and practical effects, practical makeup, because there's a huge difference in the it's not tangibility of it, but like, it just feels different when you're watching it. Like with watching some of the older anime and like just the conveying of emotions and this, that, and the other, and everything like that. Vice something now trying to convey that same emotion, it is not the same. But then also too, like when you have a human painting something, it's like you go to the art museum, you see, you know, a painting of someone, and they're like, oh, hey, this person was going through this and that and the other at the time. And there's a story behind each brush stroke or each, sketch, this, that, and the other. If you're reading manga or something like that, right? Which is still a conveyance of, just kind of how people are feeling, right? Which, because we're people, and so the more computers get involved, you take out the emotion, and people are like, man, this thing feels hollow because there's no emotion in there because no people created it.
True.
no, I
Computers don't know
definitely
how
feel
to,
you on that.
it's an
I definitely feel you on
unspoken
that.
it's an unspoken thing, but the people are talking about it every day, all the time. This feels flat, this feels hollow, it feels like slop, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Whereas, but it's a double-edged sword because people want the consumers, right? So my question about, is the problem the consumers? Like, we want more, 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 fast, fast, give me my content, 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 content. We consume, 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 and they're like, okay, we got to figure out a way to meet this demand.
Actually, you don't. You don't. If your product is good, they'll wait for it.
True.
I mean, my problem for me is like, this is what I hate. Netflix will do it famously. I give you this show. I like the show. I'm invested in the show. I binge watched the show over a weekend. Now the show will be back in a year and a half. Okay. Um, if your show was semi okay, I'm not coming back to watch this in a year and a half.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, our old late great shows were on like the CW and stuff like that. Smallville. Oh God, I hated it when May rolled around because I knew it was getting ready to go into that thing, and now I got to wait until September or October to see my Smallville.
Yeah.
Um, it got harder and harder, but nowadays they do this to you. They give you these shows. Game of Thrones. It'll be back in a year and something. I'm okay, dude. I'm checked out. I'm not waiting. It was okay for me, but yeah, hand drawn art.
That's a
Um,
great comment. I like that.
it is. It is.
It's facts.
It just gets harder and harder. But if your content is good, I can't wait for this next thing to come out. Me and Jinky are watching From. So From is out there.
Yeah.
It's a great show. I'm invested. It's out now, but we're waiting for everything to finish up so I can go ahead and buy the app for it so I can binge watch all of it. I don't want to get locked in where I'm, got to do another month of this thing and then I get stuck with something I'm not going to watch anymore. But it's a good enough show where it's still here. That's where we have to catch. Well, I'm speaking as if we're creating this stuff. They have to capture us. They have to capture us. The Mandalorian. I could not wait. I saw season 1. It brought me back into Star Wars. The moment that door opened up and he was there in that door frame and he took out those boys in that bar, I'm like, this is my show. Okay? Season 3. But I rushed out. I didn't rush out. I went and saw the movie. Went with the friends the same day. We saw it twice. I saw it twice in the same day. I saw it in IMAX. I wanted to see it in that 4X theater thing setting where the chairs rock and you get all that. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, that's why I saw it, Dolby Vision.
See, when you get those experiences, it makes it better, of course. But if they can't grab you where you want to keep watching their show and they just keep churning out stuff, you have to be careful. We were saying this about Darth Maul. Look at that art style and everything else. And then I turned to Mark and I said, are we saying it's good because we haven't had any good Star Wars and this is just a mediocre plane and we're just happy because it doesn't have any of the stuff that we don't like in it and we're just like, it's good. This is the greatest thing ever. Oh my God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had to go back and I had to rewatch it. How good is it? Am I just being critical because they gave me some nostalgia? They gave me some things that I liked about it. And now I'm saying, man, this is a really great show. You know what I mean? The artwork, loved it. I love the artwork. I did. I love Sam Whitaker coming back and doing Maul. You know what I mean? That voice, the way he is, the way he was, fighting Vader. Okay? Yes. But then I had to say, am I really invested in this where I can say that it was that good? Rotten Tomatoes, 90% score, 98% score. Fans at the same thing. This thing is the highest level thing of anything Star Wars has ever created. This cartoon has it. And I'm not surprised because people wanted to see more about Maul. Again, episode 1 came out, and when they killed him, I said, you know what, Mr. Lucas, thank you for your time. I think I'm done. You killed off my favorite character, and his next movie is Attack of the Clones, which I thought was a joke. The last movie I knew everybody was going to rush out to see because Anakin turns into Vader. Didn't care for Anakin because he was a whiny little kid and now he's a whiny little teenager. Didn't care for that. He finally gets to be Vader and everybody's like, oh my God. All I kept thinking was, this is the Energizer Bunny moment. No, I'm like, give me a break. So, wasn't a big fan of the prequels. Sequel trilogy comes back out. I go back and I look at these and go, hey, you know what? It's not that bad. But
Right.
then
You're
you
very
get the
yeah.
show. You get this the cartoon shows, because I saw Solo and there's Darth Maul. I'm like, where'd he come from? You got to go watch Clone Wars. Not watching a cartoon. I go watch the cartoon. Fell in love with the clones. Fell in love with Ahsoka. Love me some Darth Maul. What happened? When did all of our cartoon shows? DC's another prime example. DC animation. I don't care what any Marvel fan thinks. DC animation blows away Marvel movies and, of course, Marvel animation completely. The DC animated universe is second to none.
Yeah, it's tough.
It
And the
is second to
quality,
none.
look, even though the quality of that isn't what I would like to, or what I've seen animators from Japan do with our Western IPs, like Wolverine and Blade, and who else? They did a whole X-Men thing or whatever. But the
Yeah.
DC joints, it's something about it. Like they I think they capture the feeling, the emotion. Like DC's always been more grounded anyway
Yeah. But
compared to Marvel.
their stories, it's not kid friendly. I love that
Right?
about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And then they are 100% to that character. So I like Flashpoint Paradox. When the Flash saves his mom and then wakes up in that universe, and then
Hmm.
he remembers everything, but didn't realize him doing that changed everything. That was one of the best stories ever. And then when I'm just gonna say when Batman shot Reverse Flash in the head, it's like,
Look,
oh my
when
god,
Thomas Wayne did
Yeah,
it.
see,
you know,
now that
Thomas
was
Wayne,
my reaction as well. Because I'm
yeah,
sitting there going, damn, he really did. You know
he
what I
shot
mean?
Yeah,
him in the head, and he said, "Run."
yeah.
So I mean, you have these things where we know certain things can be great if the time is taken with them, but the time isn't taken with them. Now,
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. You have your shows like Chowder. Uh, look, SpongeBob.
I hate SpongeBob, but
I,
and I
but
know
look,
you said it all the time. For me, it's brain rot. I can't sit there and get into it because I hear Sponge laugh and talk, and it annoys the hell out of me. I
It
feel
was
like
still
I've
countless.
just lost brain cells. And even
listen.
when my goddaughter or my daughter is watching it, I'm like, what the hell are you guys looking at? Turn this off. I can't deal with it. Stop right now. So I hate that show. I hate Steven's Universe. Like we were saying earlier, because like I love Teen Titans. When that show first aired on Cartoon Network, I absolutely loved Teen Titans and what is it, Young Justice
Young Justice. Young
was
Justice
off
was
Mm,
the
tight.
chain.
mm.
And then when they brought, I was like, Teen Titans
Justice
Go,
League
they're
Unlimited.
bringing back Teen Titans. I can't wait. Then I looked at this, I'm like, what the hell is this? And it was all jokes, and I'm like, oh my god, I was so angry. And then they made a Teen Titans movie Go where they meet the Teen Titans, and I'm
Stop.
like, who the hell
Look,
came up
two
with this
different universes,
idea?
bro. Two
They,
different
they made
universes.
Nicolas Cage Superman, right?
Yeah,
They made
yeah.
Nicolas Cage Superman.
I'm like, who came up with this crap?
But you got to I mean, think
Just
about
for
all
the
the things that
jokes.
we had, because
Yeah,
it all started off, of course, with Batman with was it Son of Batman, Batman
yeah.
versus Robin.
Hmm.
I loved all that. You know what I mean?
Teen Titans
Of course,
versus
then
Justice
Death in the
League.
Family, and
Yeah.
now we're getting Nightfall, 3-part Nightfall from DC Animation.
Yes.
I have not seen the trailer for that. Is that based the when is that when Bane breaks his back?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
they're
remember
coming
reading a
out.
book about that when I was like
Dude, I'm
13
telling
or
you,
something.
That comes
I
out
bought
next
the
year, I think.
comics. I had the audio book. And you can catch it on YouTube, but it's Audio Graphics has it now too, and they have like an extended version of it. Um, and that whole little saga with Jean Paul Valley being Azrael coming in, and Batman losing, breaking his back. The only thing I didn't like, and it made me stop collecting comics, was when Batman finally comes back to be Batman. I'm not gonna do this. I need time, and I'm like, this is not Batman. Who wrote this? Batman does not. After reclaiming being Batman, I need to take some time off. who, who in their right mind decided that this was Batman? You know what I mean? It really kills me. Um, Lantern show looks good. The last trailer looks good. The first couple of trailers, I could.
Yeah, I keep forgetting it's going to be a show. I keep thinking it because I want a movie. I just want a movie. All right.
Now
I
look,
keep forgetting it's going to be a
so
show though. I gotta
long,
rewatch it.
the
The newest
long,
trailer.
They
the
did the
long
long
Halloween
Halloween
season.
already.
Yeah,
Yeah, they've already done that, and that was a two-parter, which was really good.
yeah, it's
So
it's it's good. What is that?
I can't wait for the what is it, the Batman show, the one that's coming out. I also like Spider-Man Noir, the one that Nicolas Cage is doing live action on.
Well, it's
What is
Nicolas
it?
Cage. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't care. I
Yeah,
really,
it's
I
he
hate
live.
to
was
say
standing
it.
on the corner
I
and
don't
we'll
care
watch
how
him.
bad his movie is. It's Nicolas Cage. You know.
Yeah, but you're gonna get the opportunity to either see it in black and white or in color.
Nick
And
Cage stands in the corner. We're gonna be there watching him
yeah,
You
stand
know
in
what I
the
mean?
corner.
I
Like,
think
oh my
they'll
god, look at
watch that in black and
him.
white. I didn't like Werewolf by Night.
I
I
didn't
didn't
know.
like that. I didn't like
I
that
didn't
It was
know.
horror movie.
okay. It was okay.
I
It was
mean,
different.
it was definitely different. I like that. I maybe because I didn't know enough about the characters to really care. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
And I think that's what I liked about it. I was like, I don't know what's going on here. It made me want to go kind of look up some stuff. Like I knew
Yeah.
about because what
Man
the
Thing.
was it Man Thing?
The guy in the back at the end. Remember? Because that's who he was there to
But you know what?
free.
I keep getting him mixed up with the guy from DC, the same Earth
Swamp
based
Thing.
Swamp Thing. Yeah, yeah. I keep getting them mixed up. Um, y'all had me think. I was thinking. I was gonna say. Goodness. What was it now? Oh. It made me think because you were talking about you really like that Marvel joint there with the horror joint. It made me think about Andor again. Not to go back to Star Wars, but I'll shout it from the mountain out of Calibus. I know you don't like it. All right.
Andor was the
I
best
love
show
you.
ever.
I'm not gonna say that. All right. Stop
Look,
playing with me. I'm not saying that.
but look, they for this show, seriously, for this show to come out, for me, if they would have named it Rebellion, I would have been on board because Mon Mothma, this woman,
She was the best
pimps
part.
out her daughter, loses her husband, loses everything to start this fledgling rebellion, and then they take her to the base and she doesn't really do anything. And I'm like, you again, the strongest character you had here because Andor, I'm telling you guys now, we already knew the end of his story, and they kept trying to hype him up as like he's going to be a great leader one day. He's gonna he didn't do shit.
Yeah.
What? Go get Jane Urso? Get out of here, man! I mean, you could have sent the droid
but
by himself to go do that.
I
but look,
hated his
I
character.
normally that kind of stuff normally bothers me. I normally hate prequels, but for some reason, Andor hit the right chords with me. And even though I know it's a prequel, I know where he's going to end up. But I'm just like I'm kind of here for the surrounding story and his little part in it and this that and the other because I know what's happening to him. I'm here for everyone else too. And
Look,
most
the
people didn't like it because of
Empire's
their slow burn because nothing really happened until like what 4 or 5 episodes in.
It was
well,
bad. Yeah, you're right. It didn't. That was what I had an issue with because he seemed like a way better character in Rogue One than he was in this story. He seemed too timid with everything he was doing in Andor, and I think that's why I didn't like it. And yeah, again, I feel like when it's a prequel to something, you already know what's going to happen. It kind of draws me out. I said that about Maul because I know how Maul ends based on Rebels cartoon. This was nice to see how he got to that point, but you know what's going to happen later on. So I wish they would. I told you that earlier, Calvis, that I wish they had more episodes than the 8 that they had because I think they needed to expand on the story more so than what they did. I felt, especially that last episode was kind of rushed for me. I wanted more other stuff happening before all of that happened. That was my
but I
only
think
issue with it.
I don't know. I liked it the way it was because it gets you to want to come back to see what's going to happen next.
Yeah,
And to get a season two after the first two episodes drop, they greenlight those. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then I kind of forgot about that, and I'm like, ooh, so we're going to get this. Now, I have to be honest with you. If they don't take the time to give us a little bit more than what they gave, you gave me the banger. That's your season one. This season two needs to open up a little bit more and does need to stretch this out. You can't keep trying to deliver banger after banger because you're never going to make it.
No.
Right.
You had a successful season one, okay? But now you've got to go up because the only other place you can go is down. You can't stay like this. You can only go up or down because the fans now demand more. You can't give us the same stuff you just gave us because now we're going to be like, oh, wow, what happened?
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
And sadly, you have a bunch of Star Wars nerds and influencers who are on here who are Star Wars is a great franchise and this is just sad. These numbers aren't this and it should be bigger. And I'm sitting there going, there was a pandemic. People are broken. People don't go to the movies like they used to anymore. China doesn't pick up the tab like they used to and save a lot of these movies anymore.
Yeah.
You know, they're not even putting any of these factors into what they're saying. No one goes to the movies like that anymore. We're just now getting comfortable with going back to the movies, and we're already on the horizon for another pandemic.
It's true, right? Yeah.
So I don't get what they're, you know what I mean? So fans are finicky. All I can tell people is go out, see what you like. You know, make the effort to go out and see what you like because that shows the movie makers who is seeing what and what they're paying their monies for. The Mandalorian will make its money, if not in the ticket sales, but in product.
Oh God.
I
yeah.
know for a fact because I bought several popcorn buckets, T-shirts, and if I'm doing it, there's somebody out there with deeper pockets doing more.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So look, let's bring it circle because so talking about quality of production mostly in terms of like animation and things like that, but production is live action, everything like that. We mentioned timing a little bit too. Now I want to say this too, and let's maybe kind of put a bow tie in this whole discussion with talking about another live action IP, Marvel. Now we've been sitting on this whole next release, you know, with Doom and all that. This seems to be longer times between Marvel products. They stopped trying to, you know, slop it out to us, you know, because we was flaming it up on the internet. At least everyone else was. I just sat back and watched. I don't get involved in it, except with y'all. But do we think, you know, because timing doesn't enough. You give something enough time. You give a bad cook an hour and a good cook an hour. You give a bad cook 2 hours and a good cook 2 hours. Bad cook's still gonna be a bad cook, no matter how much time you give them. It's just gonna be more bad food that you're gonna have to eat because you need to live. But with entertainment, we ain't gotta consume it, right? But we're like most people gonna go watch it, and then we're gonna throw our dollars at it in the hopes of, you know, it, you know, grabbing us like, you know, earlier on in, you know, their history. I mean, how y'all feel about, you know, it's been like what, how long since Endgame? Because I really stopped counting it. I don't count any of the things between Endgame. I think the real next direct kind of thing is
on,
this whole Doom
I'm
endeavor.
not gonna lie to you. I saw the new Captain America, Brave New World, and again I went because Harrison Ford, Red Hulk. I'm supporting, of course, Anthony Mackie as Captain America. I thought it was okay. Again, nothing to write home about, but I thought it was a passable movie. You know, I know everybody, oh, it sucked. Okay, well, that's your opinion. I am not impressed. Look, I'm going to tell you now, I'm not impressed with Doomsday. You bringing back Roddy Downey Jr. because you can't pull anything else out of your hat. The bait and switch stuff with, oh, we're going to have the X-Men in here. This is going to be big because you need it.
Okay,
Why
so
do you need it? Because you had a string of failures. You need this. I will be on the high seas watching all these movies. I have a friend of mine that hooks me up. I'll be on the high seas watching these. I will not give Marvel any of my money.
Because I was in
I'll
a
give Star
cave.
Wars my money way
Yeah.
before I give Marvel any of my money. I'm not impressed with
vice
the
versa.
Spider-Man thing. I'm not impressed with, and then, oh, we're going to have Secret Wars. And then after Secret Wars, we're rebooting the whole Marvel universe. Why?
Yeah. Well, so when you said that, like the Marvels was the first one, I was like, that was such a waste of time. But because that was a flop. Um,
I thought
what
it
is
was
it?
a fun movie,
It was
honestly.
okay. Doctor Strange into the multiverse. I was looking more for that. And it wasn't
Scarlet
bad.
Witch movie.
Yeah, that one wasn't too bad. But yeah, people didn't get into that. Spider Man was their biggest box office was the Spider Man, um, whatever that one was called, No Way Home or whatever
Yeah,
with all
all
of them.
three of them
Like,
showed up, right?
yeah, well, all three of them showed up, so that was a big hit. I didn't have a problem with Brave New World. I enjoyed that. Then we get Fantastic Four. That was okay. That was World. What is it? 818. So that was an interesting little spin on it. I just watched that again.
You know
You
what's
know what?
sad? I forgot I saw that movie.
Oh
But
no.
that wasn't bad.
But I liked it. I
Yeah,
Yeah.
genuinely liked the movie. Again,
yeah,
I'm not waving any banners for it,
right.
Right, right.
but I liked it more than I did Superman. And this is coming from a DC guy,
Yeah,
which scares me. You know what I'm saying? That I like the Marvel movie more than I did a DC movie for the first time. But when Mark just mentioned, I go, "Oh yeah, I did see that." That's kind of scary.
so yeah, I mean, I have to agree. I'm not looking forward to Doomsday. I'm somewhat looking forward to Spider-Man, but not the Doomsday movie. And like you said, it's because why would you hire more Robert Downey Jr. as Doom? They could have hired anybody else. Why you need to bring him back? And is that supposed to tie into Doctor Strange when he was going in Endgame? There's only going to be one way that we win this. The true one way was let's just double the food supply for the entire universe, and then everybody survives. That's all they had to do. Don't get rid of half the people. I snap, and now we have twice as much food as we had before. But no, I didn't think like that. That's just too stupid to think like that. But no, okay.
Thanos was right. He did nothing wrong. Stop it.
Well,
He
Magneto
had a
was right.
small,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? If we're gonna do something, give me that. Again, another big blockbuster. You get Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool
I
Wolverine,
totally forgot about that one.
first billion-dollar movie, and God knows how long we get it because they left the man alone to cook.
yeah,
But you're bringing back we're bringing back the people that did Endgame, and I'm like, yeah, but none of us are impressed with that.
yeah,
You act like this is supposed to make us really, and I mean, I hear it all the time because I get kids that come in the store. Oh, I saw that. Me and my mom are going to get it, and that's great. And I'm glad that you guys are going to make a connection. You and your parents, you're going to go see this movie. But as an old school fan, and I get it, you don't want my money, but you don't want these kids' money either because they don't spend that money like I do on these T-shirts, these banners, these little things. They don't spend their money like we do.
no. They don't have
And
the money to
now,
spend like that anyway.
right? And now it's not just enough to make ticket sales. You have to make product sales now to sustain a movie, and that's sad. What happened to just going to a movie and shelling out all this money to go see a movie? You know what I mean? We did this for Batman 1989. We did this for Star Wars and even Star Trek, Um, but now everything is merchandise adjacent. So if your show is doing well, even if it's an animated show, but the boys stop watching because little boys buy toys and little girls don't,
Yeah,
they cut your show off.
that's what happened to Young Justice.
That's exactly what happened to Young Justice.
Young Justice was everybody was watching it, but nobody was buying toys, so they killed the show. They're like, "Are you kidding?"
Well, they told
me?"
you. They said that they did the numbers. Girls started watching the show more than boys,
Yeah,
and girls don't buy action figures, so they cut it. And I'm sitting there going, Are you crazy? I know a couple of girls that
Yeah.
buy action figures. What are you talking about? What? Why would you cut? It was a deep show.
But
It was
that's
really
what
deep,
happened.
and
I'm
yeah.
sorry, man. But look, that's just gonna say that's what happens when you have money counters. You know what I'm
Hmm.
True.
saying? Dictating.
Well,
You
it's
know what I'm
not
saying?
even
'Cause
just
all they
money
care about
counters.
is that bottom line and the
Yeah.
increases here and there, how much investors, stakeholders are making, not the quality of the product or lives being impacted or just for funsies.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then, but then when you have something that breaks the mold, goes against the grain, then you have the industry hating on that. They'd be like, "Oh, that was a one-off. This, that, and the other. That's not how the real world works." And it's like, why couldn't y'all support and lift them up and like, hey, this indie studio, whoever did this thing, and everyone loved it, and they didn't have to nickel and dime people. They just made a really good product, and it did great, and let's celebrate it. But now y'all mad because your feelings are hurt because
It's
you
not what
spent
you
$1
really
billion
wanted.
and, and did, what I'm saying?
Or you could have a studio head of the studio say, "If it's not my way, I'm going to burn this motherfucker down." And
True.
Yeah.
It's not even just that though. You got, like you were saying, you have people in charge of IPs that don't know what the IP is, and that
but they're
annoys me.
fans. They're
Oh yeah,
fans, Mark. They grew up with it
I've
and they're
never
fans.
seen it. That annoys me when you say, like, yeah, I've heard other people like, oh, but why are you doing it this way? Because that's how the character is. I didn't know that.
You know what my
But
favorite is? When they come up to him and they go, "Well, what's your favorite Star Wars or your Star Trek show?" And they go, "Oh, I love them all."
yeah, because then you don't
You're a
know what you,
lie.
yeah, because you
I'm a
don't know what
Star
you
Wars
like.
fan and I don't love it all.
Yeah,
Okay? I don't love it. I'm a Star Trek fan. Don't love it all. I have favorite episodes out of every series.
yep.
Every series, even the ones I hate, I still have favorite episodes from. So you can't sit here and tell me, you're a fan and you don't have a favorite one. You're
Yep.
a liar.
Yeah.
And a poor one at that.
Heck yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just ridiculous, man.
Yeah. Well, that I don't know. I think that might be a good wrapping point for this conversation. We could keep going and on and on. I think we all agree that it's important. You know what I'm saying? Production quality, but it's going to matter to everyone differently. We want to give people a chance to express themselves artistically because that's also important. You never know what you're going to like. If you always see the same thing all the time. And we've
Yeah.
been getting a lot of the same thing, but hopefully this will reach the ears of some folks who are doing some different things and people encouraged to think outside the box. We got a lot of the same old prequels, remakes, reshoots, and you know, I don't know. Maybe someone will figure it out eventually. But like I said, I think we'll hit a renaissance soon, hopefully, and,
Yeah,
and, and get back to emotion and feeling. Things aren't slop.
I
Hmm.
agree.
I hope so.
Me too.
Well, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate y'all for being here with us tonight. Um, check back with us in 2 weeks. Um, I don't know. I'm drawing a blank on a wrap up. I'm Paladin for the Blurs, for Marky Mark and Calibus. We appreciate y'all. I got children screaming in the background. That's why I can't think. We out, y'all. Take care.